America? It's going down. Special guest is here, Denny. Let's get it on. Oh, looky. Who is that? Oh, that's Denny, the roost. Hey, buddy.
What's up, man?
Who do we have here?
The cock.
We have the cock. Oh, they're good.
What's up?
So here we go. I got Denny Rooster Katona in the house, OP veteran, CEO extraordinaire, and we're about to cook an Hungarian, which I had Hungarian food.
I don't know if you've had it or not.
No, I've been to Hungary. I had a goulash.
Okay, I make goulash too, but
Yeah.
that's not what I'm making.
So I had a Hungarian goulash before, but tonight we're making a chicken Paprikash, which I don't even know what that means.
Paprika.
Oh. So that means it's gonna be freaking spicy. So Denny's gonna come over here, he's gonna do his thing, he's gonna talk you through everything, and we're gonna get our freaking eat on. Saying America, pay attention.
Hey, what's going on? So, like Mike said, tonight we're going to make Hungarian chicken paprikash. Chicken paprikash, it's, just like how a lot of, Texas Hispanics love menudo or caldo al res. It's comfort food, right? So, my family is ethnically Hungarian. So, this is up my comfort food, right? It's a basic chicken dish, utilizes paprika, and it's chicken, obviously, and it's served over like an egg drop noodle, right? My grandma used to make it all the time. It was amazing. My mom used to make it all the time. Still pretty amazing. And so as an adult, later in life, I actually started teaching myself how to actually cook instead of just eating Papa John's all the damn time. So this is one of the things I wanted to make, because this is one of the things, not having this type of food made me miss home when I was stationed, down here, and all my family's in Pennsylvania. Didn't get to have Hungarian food, right? So this is one of my favorite things to do. So one of the things I always do when I cook is I prep, right? I cannot stand rushing around. I like to focus on what I'm doing, and it allows a distraction. Something in me, it enables me to focus on something else. If you follow me, and I've actually heard Mike talk about it, and it gave me chills. Cooking enables you to focus on something at hand rather than your own garbage, your own shit, right? So I like to be able to. I'm very meticulous and focused on how I cook. So one of the first things I did is chopped up a bunch of onion, some more garlic, and I have that standing by for when I'm ready to start cooking. Now, the other part of the ingredient was nukedli. It's that egg drop noodle. Very basic noodle. Egg, flour, water. I actually use chicken stock when I make it, but just because I like to have everything to have a more vibrant flavor, so I use chicken stock instead of water in my noodles, and salt for the noodles. So it's very simple noodles to make, and it's just meticulous, right? You gotta mix everything up, and then when you're cooking it, just be meticulous in how you're doing all that. So I'm gonna go ahead and prep all this, and then we'll come back here shortly. And so, talk to you in a minute.
What is up? We got Rooster over here prepping right now.
What's up? So, chop me a little bit of onion, mince me a little bit of garlic. So, first thing we're gonna do is just cook the onions long enough to soften them up. I also put the garlic in there. I don't even think the actual recipe calls for garlic, but my last name ends in a vowel, so it's pretty much law that I have to add garlic to it. So that's what I'm doing right now, is just cooking down the onions a little bit. If I see an onion that I missed when I was chopping, I'll just try to break it up a little bit. But this is the first step. add a little bit of salt to the onion down a bit. So here again, the recipe calls for 2 tablespoons. No, I'm Hungarian. I put more paprika in there than 2 tablespoons. I put 2 tablespoons in it right now just for the onions, and then I add more after a bit after I get going a little bit. So basically, I'm just stirring it in, mixing the paprika with the onion, dissolving the paprika. This is the base for the gravy. Just cook it for about a minute.
So you're going to cook the onions until when?
Well, I already cooked them for about 5 minutes. Now that I have them all softened up, I cook them for another minute, just to cook the paprika into the onion, and then that's when I'll add the chicken stock, tomatoes, and then the chicken.
Okay. And 3, 2, 1.
As you can see, the onions mixed with the paprika real well, so I'm going to add a little bit of chicken stock. Normally, it only calls for 1 can of tomatoes, but because I'm expecting I need a lot more gravy than just a single recipe because I'm cooking so much chicken, I'm putting in 2 cans. We're just going to cook that in and let the tomatoes soften a little bit, and then we'll add the chicken. All right, so here we go. We added the chicken stock. We added the tomatoes to that. I may or may not have added a little bit more paprika, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to add a little bit more.
You really want my butthole to be blown out tonight, don't you?
Baby.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God, that's so much.
That's what she said. So,
It's so girthy.
this is sweet paprika. This is not hot paprika. But one of the things I found, I like a little bit more flavor, like just seasoning, and it doesn't call for a lot of salt in this. So what I started doing when I started making my paprika chicken, I used adobo, but for whatever reason, I don't know why, the local HEB right down the road did not have adobo. I don't know, it's Texas. It's like, what are you doing? So I got McCormick's Total Seasoning Chicken and Fish, which is pretty much what adobo is, right? So I'm gonna add a little bit of that to there, and that's just going to add a little bit of flavor to the gravy. Because later on, after the chicken cooks a bit, we're going to remove the chicken a little bit, cook it down with some flour and some sour cream. So that's going to kind of lighten it up a little bit. So in order to ensure that it still has a nice rich flavor, good seasoned flavor, I add a little bit of that stuff to it. All right, so now just start adding chicken thighs.
He likes the dark meat.
So no shit, there I was. One of the first times I cooked chicken paprikash. I was. This is the weekend I realized Celeste was the woman that I was going to marry, and it was truly meant to be. We went up to my cousin's when she lived up in Arlington, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'd love for you to make chicken chicken paprikash. Haven't had it in years, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, okay. So, my cousin's husband, he got these, and the rest, like I said, the recipe calls for chicken breast. That's more of a fancy thing. Poor Hungarian people had chicken thighs and legs and stuff. So, I like to have having the meat, cooking the meat with the bone in it. It adds more flavor to it. So that's why I choose chicken thighs and legs, because the reason being, no shit, there I was, this is meant to be. I cooked the bone-in chicken breast according to the same time it said to cook the bone-out chicken breast. So, ergo, the chicken breast was not completely cooked.
And you gave everyone salmonella.
No, but I gave myself salmonella.
Holy shit, you got salmonella?
I don't know if it was salmonella, but I had, I was...
The squirts.
It was coming out both ends, right?
My good old friend Sal.
There I was, sitting on the damn commode, shitting my brains out, puking my brains out. Celeste is holding the bucket, smelling my fecal explosion, at the same time smelling my puke, and she just grinned and bared it and took care of me that whole entire weekend. So I'm like, you know what, this is meant to be. So no shit, there I was, food poisoning. Showed me.
Did she hold your hair up?
Yeah, because I had a high tide at the time. But
It's funny because I have a freaking a thing with chicken feet. So when I was a kid, I remember my grandmother made a chicken stew, and she put chicken little fucking feet in there with the fucking skin on it and everything. So she cooked it in there.
So this is gonna cook for a while,
and then
we'll come back here in a little bit. All right, so chicken's still cooking. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna start making the drop noodles because it takes a hot minute. But basically, I just got a bunch of the dough or batter, whatever the hell you want to call it. Put it on the end of the spatula, and all I'm gonna do is drop a little bit in.
So what do you do? A tablespoon, or you just?
I just kind of go by about how big I want the noodles.
Okay.
This was done by poor Hungarian women, so it wasn't an exact science. So it's just kind of like, I think there's actually a maker that you can get, which I kind of want.
So Hungarians are the black people of Eastern Europe.
No, those are the gypsies.
Okay. I was just saying, I'm just making sure.
No, because
they don't drop N-bomb. No.
No shit, there I was like in 5th grade, and I think that's when I first saw the real old Dracula movie with Bela Lugosi, and we were at my grandma's or wherever, I think she was staying with an aunt at the time because she was getting older, and I said, "Grandma, were you a gypsy?"
Was she?
No.
Okay.
No.
So they hate gypsies like Italians hate gypsies, because fucking Italians can't stand gypsies, man. Like, they like to steal shit.
All right, so the gnocchidlis have been cooking for a minute or two. I actually cooked to some, but it only, like I said, it only needs to cook for like a minute, minute and a half, depending on the size of the gnocchidli. And you just basically strain them out, put them in a bowl, let them drain a little bit more, and then you have gnocchidli. And so what we're going to do here, we're going to finish taking what's in the pot out, put it in the strainer, and then we have to take the chicken out of the gravy or the stock, whatever you want to call it at this point, and then we'll start cooking it down, adding the flour and the sour cream and all that type of stuff, and make it into an actual gravy rather than just the juice. So the gnocchidli has a real good flavor. Like I said, I use chicken stock instead of water. It's just my personal preference. It just adds a little bit of flavor to it. So I'm gonna come over here, take the thighs out. They've been cooking for about 30, 40 minutes. Plenty of time for small chicken thighs to boil. So, again, the good thing about using chicken legs or chicken thighs or whatever, it not only get the taste of the chicken into the gravy, but you also, it really helps it to have that bone-in flavor. So that's why I choose to use bone-in meat. Now we cook this on the stovetop. This is the, I guess the old school method, but I actually normally slow cook this, and it turns out just as good. All that's going. You can see the color of the gravy. The bright redness is the paprika, but it'll have that dull color. And then once you add the flour mixture to it and to thicken it up, and the sour cream, it actually turns to more of an orange. All right, so I'm gonna put this in the oven to keep this warm, and then we should have chicken paprikash here very shortly. Watch out, buddy. And again, we just have the oven on 275 so the chicken stays warm. All right, so now we're going to turn the cooking stock into a gravy. So you can see it still has that vibrant red color from all the paprika. Instead of just dumping flour in there, I actually mixed the flour with some chicken stock. And what that does is that helps prevent lumps. So I'm just going to pour this in generously. And I've turned the heat down from a medium to high heat down to a medium to low-ish heat. And I'm just going to allow that flour to thicken up the juice into like a gravy. And once that thickens up, that's when I add the sour cream, and that again, that'll lighten it up and that'll tone down the flavor just a little bit because there is a lot of paprika in this sumbitch. So, stand by.
I don't know what my goodness, I never learned that.
Okay, right now we are ready to take the chicken out of the oven and add it back into the gravy. Woo! It's back on here. Oh, look at it. Look at it. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get our tongs. And basically the only reason we're doing this is just to coat it into the gravy. Stir it around and just coat it. Now this gravy, it's not as thick as I'd like to be, but I put it's kind of a double recipe, but I put like triple flour in it, but it is what it is. Like I said, we're just gonna stir it around, get it coated in that gravy, and then we'll use the gravy on top of the noodles as well when we serve it up. So, alrighty.
This right here.
Hungarian Paprikash.
Pay attention, America. We do dope shit.
With dope bros.
Dear Daddy.